Shading the hair. So I've started by just kind of filling in the hair area with this medium gray tone. Okay, just kind of blended that all in because even where there are highlights in the hair, it's not white, it's gray. So I just kind of did that as sort of a background to everything else. So his hair is mostly dark. There's a few highlights here. There's some highlights here, and then over here on this side as well. So I'm going to kind of just start, and you always want to, as you shade, try to go in the direction of the hair so that as you go outside and kind of go along the edge, like over here, if I'll rotate this a little bit just to kind of make it a little bit easier. I know it'll be crooked for you guys, but I'm going to go in this direction. So as I go outside, and I don't want this smooth. You can see the hair is kind of has this bumpiness to it, and you can kind of draw that in lightly. It doesn't have to be, perfect, but as long as it has that little bit of character to it, that bumpiness, and it's not just perfectly straight, like you don't want to make the hair look like it's, pasted on like it's made out of plastic, like he's a plastic toy or something like that. But because it's mostly dark, I'm not going to worry too much about the direction of the hair. But if I go outside the line here, you can break that up a little bit so it looks more like hair texture, and I just go along the edge. I got that shape, but then I also kind of just break that up a little bit. Okay, along the side here, now I'll do vertical strokes because that hair, that's the direction of that hair, and I'm going to make it, pretty much black. Now, right in here, you have these highlights. So I'll first kind of separate it. Okay, there's this area right here. And then what I'm going to do, probably go a little bit darker now with that gray. Darken that up. And now I'm going to kind of go inward, okay, like this, kind of flicking my wrist as I go in. Because with hair, it's good to kind of, or eyelashes, so that it tapers. You get that nice thin point on the end there, okay, as you do that. So I'm just going to come in and kind of, go in between with my dark values. And as it goes in, so this hair is coming across here. Hair is kind of combed. It's got a part over here. It comes across. This overlaps that other part, right? So this overlaps it. There's a little bit of a shadow right here. Very dark right here. And there's a little bit of a shadow right in here going over top of that. So it's just a little bit darker right here, and then lightest right here, and then it starts to curve under. The curve pops out. This is the high point of the curve of the hairs that are right here. So that's going to be the lightest spot. Okay. And again, you don't have to get it like perfect, and I'm not worried about that either. Like his hair, as long as it looks like there's some, hair strands there. You get a couple of dark lines in there, and there you go. You have that texture, and it doesn't have to look like perfect like that. Fade that in. Okay, and that's kind of the same technique you're going to use for all the hair. Now notice his hair right here. It's going up and then curving. Okay, it's going like this. It's kind of going up and then curving and kind of coming down like that. So the hair is pushed up right here. So in this area here, now there's some of this is shadow on the forehead, but you can do this texture and you can kind of draw in sort of the shape. I have this gray area, but you can start to kind of draw these in and kind of figure out these sections, these little areas, and make sense of them. Give yourself some guidelines And then there's so we got this curl here that's highlighted, these group of curls here that are highlighted, and then these curls here that are highlighted. And these are all kind of going up and then this way. And then you have these hairs that are curling back that way. So you just try to figure out, you know, those shapes and kind of give yourself a couple of lines and kind of draw them like abstract shapes at first, just to kind of get these groupings, get these shapes. And it's going to look weird at first, but that's just a guideline to kind of guide your shading, whatever kind of works for you. And then, like I said, you have these curls going back this way, okay, back here, and then so you have this group right here, and then I can kind of subdivide that into this section here and then this section here, and these are sort of some loose hairs. This is just some loose hairs kind of stuck on top there. So then I'll separate this into these curls going this way and these curls going this way over here, which come all the way sort of up into this area. Got this here, and then I kind of have this dark edge over in here. So you've got to take, you don't want to just go in and start just scribbling, you know. You want to kind of take a methodical approach, kind of think it through and plan it out, kind of give yourself some guidelines. And there's more of that over here. Again, it's dark down here, and then you have these lighter hairs, and you kind of have this cluster that comes off something like this. This cluster of lighter hairs right here, and then a few loose strands of lighter hair here. Okay, so then I can, you know, I can kind of just randomly kind of go along here and sort of create this texture, because I don't want a line going this way. I can have a line going this way along here, but then as it goes up into this, after about right this point here, then there's all these hairs kind of going in this direction, sort of. So you could kind of draw some lines to kind of create, you want this broken line along here, right? So I'm doing pencil strokes kind of going up and down, trying to establish it, and then they kind of go this way, like this, as these hairs go this way. Okay, and then eventually you'll start to darken that, and you can start to fill in the dark areas again and go with the direction of the hair. That's going to help reinforce the form, the three-dimensionality of it. Okay, it's going to be mostly dark, so as long as you get your pencil strokes kind of going in that direction and make them dark, build it up slowly. All right, again, I'm just kind of, you can see how as I'm shading, I didn't make it completely dark yet, but I'm going to gradually do that. And I'm going in this direction, and eventually I'll get it really dark. Okay, and then kind of the same thing here. Now I'm going up with my pencil strokes, shading. And then I'll start to, whoops, I don't get myself lost here. Got this section here, and then this is on top. This is in dark, okay, right here. And eventually it'll all come together, and you keep going like that. Now I've started to pull out my highlights a little bit, and this one's a little bit too thick right here. So I will eventually adjust that, okay? Pencil strokes coming up like this. Okay, this is dark on top like this. This sort of then disappears. A few dark strands in there. This is darker here. Okay, then emerges. Dark right here. And then, you know, a few lines here and there dark lines in between to kind of separate the strands. Break up that line there a little bit, and it's just kind of more of that. You can see how it starts to come together, you know, texture. I'll probably adjust that later on some more, go eventually come back to this and go darker. I like to build it up a little bit at a time. Do the next section, build that up, come over here, do this section, and you just keep doing that. And so build it up slowly. Have a little patience, and then eventually this is all going to be, you know, super dark, nice and black. Maybe a few highlights. You know, lighter grays, just barely enough that you can kind of see the direction of the hair. And I might have a, you know, this darker strand here, so you can kind of get a feel of the direction of the hair, but yet that it's dark. And you just kind of keep going with that, building it little by little to do the hair. And then in the end, make sure you have a sharp pencil, and you can do a few, you know, light strands here and there of these loose hairs that are sticking off to the side and so forth.